kókó nílé ìmúkànlẹ̀kùn, mo kànlẹ̀kùn re gbogbo, àtẹni tó wà nínú ilé àtẹni tó nílẹ̀kùn. Ẹ ṣílẹ̀kùn fún mi o, ayé tuntun yìí ni ọmọ làdó. Ẹ open door yẹn fún mi, boy yẹn fẹ́ enter tí màá wọlé kanlẹ̀ mà ní. Simply because àìtìlẹ̀kùn mọ́ wọn nílé. Ẹ má tìlẹ̀kùn mọ́ wọn nílé mẹ́. Ayé tuntun ọmọ làdó mo tún dé. Mo kí yín o, gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ ayé tuntun. Ayé a máa nífẹ̀ẹ́ yín. I am New World African Lion in another version. Yes, I am the culture master. Yes, I am the balance line between the modern and the ancient. Mo kí yín. Welcome to another episode of the program Mind Seasoning and Enlightenment Program. Bá a ṣe máa ṣe náà la tún ṣe máa ṣe. And I won't take much of your time. Pàápàá ṣe dáadáa mo bá yín. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Ẹ káàárọ̀, ẹ káàsán, ẹ káalẹ́ ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Now let's go straight to the point. Standard of life and standard of living. Ó jọra wọn ní ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ lọ́rọ̀. What are the similarities between the standard of life and the standard of living? What are the differences? We will go into these within few minutes. I ṣàlàyé àwọn kankan fúnra wa. Some illustrations, some explanations within these few minutes. And we'll round it up. The standard of life and the standard of living. Ó ṣe ní láàánú pé we all striving hard to enhance our standard of living, to improve our standard of living. Káyé iṣẹ́ àlè rọ̀ wá lọ́rùn. Then we all neglect the standard of life. If I want to say this jokingly, I will say your own standard of living is your personal problem. Wàhálà tí ẹnìyẹn kò káyé. My standard of living is my own personal problem. Wàhálà tèmi ni kò káyé. But there is a standard to life. Standard of life. And if I am to define the standard of life, I will tell you that if there is anything that gives happiness, if there is anything that gives joy, if there is anything that our mind, our hearts need to feed on, that is the standard of life. Kí láyé tuntun tó ń sọ? Ẹ farabalẹ̀ o. I'll go into it very shortly. And when I say standard of living, what do I mean? The level of our wealth, how comfortable we are, all these and more are the standard of living. That is the standard of living. But the standard of life is a subjective term that can measure the level of happiness. Definition, you copy and paste in you. It's just a pity that we all try to increase our standard of living, then we neglect the standard of life. We try to improve our standard of living, and we sacrifice the standard of life for the standard of living. You see, some facts will always remain facts, and some purpose will always remain purpose, no matter the level of your approach. There are things life requires from us. There are things our existence requires from us. And I'll give illustration. Okay, let me go into this a little bit more practical. Our standard of living is like ice cream, which we need to enjoy while it's still frozen. So when you have been served an ice cream, ọwọ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ pẹ́ ní sáà kéèké ni. You need to enjoy it while it's still frozen. Because if you don't enjoy it while it's still frozen, right there in front of you, it melts away. So I try to compare our standard of living to an ice cream. But guess what? The standard of life can be compared to a candle, a candlestick. Oh my God. And you have options with that. The standard of life that I said is the food for our heart, the food to our soul. When you light a candlestick, now an example of standard of life, the number of people you brighten up their world, the number of people you lighten up, that is the standard of life. That is what gives happiness. The good moments you share with people, the true friendship, the true relationship, the true emotions. That is the standard of life. That is what you can wholly be remembered for when you are gone. Your standard of living will not forever be in the headlines, no. There are purposes to everything. There is need for you to cover your nakedness. So you need something to put on, right? But no matter how expensive it is, no matter the brand, foreign, local, that is your personal problem. No one will be remembered for the most expensive building in town. You know why? It won't be in the headline forever. It won't ring on people's mind for too long. Àbáyé yìí kọ́. It's a matter of time. Nobody will pray to ever have such things again. But some people have gone, and we can't still forget them. You know why? Because of the good times they shared with us, because of the true friendship, because of the real emotions. That is the standard of life. Ayé tuntun a máa sọ náà bí àwàdà bí a máa mú bọ ara wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n tí ọlọ́gbọ́n bá ń lùlù, olóye ló lè yé. The number of people who attended your wedding party will not be on the headlines for too long. You know why? Because every day things happen. So people only want to hear something new. What you've done has gone, and it will not be on the headline for too long. But what people cannot forget about you is the fact that you are married. Even if the marriage doesn't work, you divorce, right? People will still address you as once been married, you know. How much elaborate you throw your party will not ring for life. Those are part of your own personal standard, which I said earlier is your personal problem. You see, when we discuss things like this, some people will always say, does it mean that money is not good? Does it mean that òpònú èèyàn ló máa sọ pé owó ò dáa? Owó? Oh my God. Bí mo ṣe bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, owó ni mò ń ná. Fún gbogbo ẹni tó bá lórí ọ̀fẹ́ láti rí mi, owó lẹ ná. Directly or indirectly. But I'm just trying to explain to you that no matter how we're trying to improve our standard of living, we shouldn't sacrifice our standard of life. for it. Value every good moment with people. Appreciate real relationship. Appreciate real friendship. When your candle is on, try as much as possible to lighten up people, brighten up people's world. That is the standard of life. That is what you can only be remembered for when you are gone. That is when you can look back and see how many people you have influenced positively. That is when you can only feel the genuine love. That is joy. That is the food for your soul. That is the food for your heart. That is the standard of life. And that is the purpose of life. So as we go about our daily activities trying to improve our standard of living, please don't sacrifice your standard of life for it. That is what you will be remembered for. To be sincere with you, now we live in a world where people are not happy. But we are just all pretending. We just want to pretend we are happy. You know why? Because we have left the things that are supposed to make us happy. We've left those things behind in the pursuit of the standard of living. Because we aim to increase, to improve on our standard of living, which is not bad, but we shouldn't sacrifice the only source of happiness for it. We shouldn't sacrifice the only source of joy for it. Somebody once said, if you want to know how successful you are, you want to know how much you have impacted people's life, drop tears and see how many hands that will be ready to wipe it. I don't know if you understand that. You want to know how successful you are? Just drop tears and see how many hands that will be genuinely ready to wipe it. Let me try to summarize this. That the standard of life, which is the source of our happiness, which is the source of joy, that is just the secret behind real happiness. And this is in people, not in things. And I hope you understand that. Deep relationships, just as I said, real friendship, affections, the love we share, genuinely from our hearts, and that is the fulfillment of our hearts, and that is the fulfillment of our existence, and that is the standard of life. As you try to improve your standard of living, try also to improve the standard of life. Ayé tuntun wà nítorí àwíjàre ká sọ̀rọ̀ kì tọ́tọ́ lẹ́nu ń bà. Bí mo ṣe máa ń ṣe náà nìyẹn, màá sáré mu wá, a máa jọ síra wọn, ó ti yé yín. Àbọ̀rọ̀ là ń sọ fọmọlúàbí. And on this note, ẹ jẹ́ máa palẹ̀ rù mí mọ́. On this very episode of Mind Seasoning Your Enlightenment Program, I'm New Odolawale African Lion. I am the culture master. I am the balance line between the modern and the ancient. In another version, èmi náà láyé tuntun ọmọ Làdó. Èmi lè jí wù mí ọkùnrin ogun. Ọláwálé ọkùnrin jáńjálá. Mind you, àìsànra olóńgìní. Tàìrò jẹjẹ kọ́. No. Until I come your way again. Ire lójú owó rí ire láwọn rí o. Òkè báyìí lẹ mú un sí òkè la máa lọ. Lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba, a tún máa pàdé láyọ̀. Trust me, I love you. Thanks for your support. Bye, guys, and God bless you. Ire o.